Welcome, everyone. Beer Guys Radio, live in the studio, Brian, and from Arkansas, from Georgia and from Arkansas. We are live right now. We have the crew from Fossil Cove Brewing Company in Fayetteville, Arkansas with us. Guys, how are you tonight?
Great. Good. How are y'all doing?
Doing good.
We're doing well. We're doing well. You know, I almost said Fayetteville, Georgia, because we do have a Fayetteville here as well. So
I think there's a Fayetteville in every state.
I think so.
This is by far
it's like Springfield.
Right.
Yeah. The Simpsons here use Fayetteville.
Exactly. We've got a couple that we've got a Jonesboro here as well.
Yep.
And they've got a Jonesboro. Did the college in Jonesboro change? It was Arkansas State. I feel like it's something.
Yeah, it was Arkansas State. It was the Indians.
Right.
And now it's the Red Wolves.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I did see some of
the mascot.
I did see some of the sweatshirts and stuff last time I was over there.
But I think that was like mid 2000s.
Okay.
But it's still in Jonesboro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, I think, the second largest university. Fayetteville's home to the University of Arkansas, so it's the largest one. But
yeah,
so we get a lot of college students.
And you don't have to change your mascot. It's the pig. You're good to go.
Razorback,
the Woo pig. Woo pig.
Pig, baby.
Yes. Good stuff, man. Football, beer, college.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
they go well
cool
together.
Things, right?
All of those things.
Good stuff.
All the finest things.
If you join us here on the live stream, feel free to leave any comments. We're about to record our segment here, but we'll be back in just about 10 minutes to chat with you. We'd love to take your comments and questions. So, guys, you ready to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Open up a tab, grab a seat, and pour a pint. It's time for the Beer Guys Radio Show.
You want free beer? Go to the brewery.
Dedicated to the art, science, and enjoyment of craft beer.
Yo, what's wrong with the beer we got?
Now, here are your hosts, Tim Dennis and Brian Hewitt.
And welcome to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We're broadcasting from the Beer Guys Radio Studios in Marietta, Georgia. And this week, we're talking with Fossil Cove Brewing Company. I'm Tim Dennis, and with me, as always, is my good friend and part-time Sasquatch, Brian Hewitt.
Looking to go full-time eventually.
Full-time, one day.
Hey, Tim. So joining us today, we have Benjamin Mills, the owner of Fossil Cove, Andrew Blann, the marketing director, and Tyler Horne, the distribution manager for Fossil Cove. We're keeping the breweries to start with February streak alive, Tim, this week. So that's good, right?
Breweries that start with F.
In February,
F
right? Because
February.
we had Firemaker.
Fossil Cove.
Man,
we
are we going to do it next week? Are we going to pull it off next week?
We'll change their name. Okay. How about we do that?
We'll add a silent F to the beginning of the name. Yeah. So we're going to talk about Belgian brown ales, craft beer in Arkansas, Tyrannosauruses and peaches, and probably a whole lot more. So, guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we got a lot to cover.
Yes, we do.
To cover. Guys, are you all football fans? Big game last weekend, Super Bowl, the Superb Owl, the big game. I think to keep from getting in trouble, you have to say the big game.
Well, if we don't
Super Bowl.
Right. With being radio and that's a big thing as to whether or not you can. And apparently it has to do with, are you using the big game?
Yeah.
If you're using it in promotion, you cannot say the Super Bowl without licensing that.
And according to what they said at the beginning of the game, you can't actually describe the contents either, because I think that's in some way infringing upon their trademarks on the activities that happen, which is weird. I don't know if anything else where just talking about an event is not allowed, but that's what they say at the beginning of the program.
So all you can say is the big game, and everybody else, people just have to know you can't say anything more than that.
Did you see that thing that happened at that big game? It was pretty great with that guy and the other guy and what they did.
There will be
amazing.
at least two teams that will play some sort of big game.
That's right. There may be some sort of object involved in travel, but I mean, we can't get much deeper than that.
That's it. That's really all we can say. Fossil Cove, did you have a party at the brewery? Super Bowl party?
Not really at the brewery, a little bit.
We have in the past. We used to Super Bowl Sunday was a big day for to-go beer leading up until kickoff. And so we used to always have like a potluck. But we didn't do that this year. think we all did.
Yeah,
we all
I hung
separately.
out with my father-in-law and drank Hop Slam, so that was
Okay.
like a good. That was like a good way to do the big game for sure.
I was at the brewery. It was pretty slow. It's normally pretty slow during the Super Bowl or the big game.
The big game. Yeah, bad.
So what Fossil Cove beer pairs best with Super Bowl munchies, man? Nachos,
IPA number 3.
IPA number 3. That's the one.
I
huh?
mean,
okay.
I'd say the Frostfest double IPA, depending on like how your team's doing.
Oh
yeah.
If you're losing, Frostfest for sure.
It's time to
Frostfest.
Well, if you're losing, it's time to open a few up. If you're winning, it's also time to open a few
Yeah,
up. So
so
depending on how it
definitely.
goes.
It's a win-win situation
That's
there, right?
Exactly right.
And that's the thing about beer, you guys. If the S hits the fan, people are going to want beer. If people are happy, they're going to want beer too. So
It is.
It really goes with everything. So
You could get like the Rams fans could have went to the Bengals fans and be like, guys, man, sorry about your loss. You want to grab a beer? They're like,
That's probably what they did.
Everybody wins.
That's right.
I mean, surely they
feels
hang out
better.
after that game.
do they still drink beer in LA?
They do. I think I did some of it, maybe. Probably all non-alcoholic and foo-foo drinks and that. And
Probably.
wine, a
Nothing
spritzer.
against anyone listening from
Spritzers
LA.
all around.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We may well have a few people in LA listening right now.
Yeah,
We do have stations
sure.
in California.
We do have
Yeah.
stations in California. Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
That's right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, Tim, I think we need to get into the beers of the week, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Brian, guess what?
What?
Great list of beers to drink this week. We want to thank our friends at the Nest for sponsoring this segment. They just celebrated their 6th anniversary, Brian.
Yes,
We went
they
over there,
did.
They had beef ribs,
They were big.
which is not a normal menu item, but they had beef ribs there. We always talk about the wings, the nachos. So check them out, man. They do some cool stuff there. Kennesaw, Georgia, craft beer, barbecue. You can't go wrong.
I actually enjoyed those beef ribs more than I enjoyed the smoked wings, which sounds unbelievable, but it was the case that time.
We
were
know
that
how you
good.
love the wings, man.
Yes.
So we know that. So Brian from Fossil Cove Brewing Company, we are currently sipping blackberry cream. And this is one when Jason Murphy came on, that he did his article for Porch Drinking, the 50 Beers in 50 States show.
Cool.
He mentioned the blackberry cream. We're also going to get into La Brea Brown, which, guys, did you say is a Belgian brown?
It's a Belgian brown ale, yeah.
Belgian brown ale. Very cool. Session IPA and a Frostfest DIPA.
That sounds
Brian.
great.
So if you can handle all of that.
I think I can. I
Are you
brought my
ready for
extra liver for this
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
So,
The
yeah.
spare.
The spare liver.
I was going to
Swap
say
them out when you have to.
three
Exactly.
of those are six ABV or above.
Or below.
Or above, aren't they? Like
they're like right in the middle. Yeah.
Blackberry
Are they right
6,
there?
La Brea
Yeah,
6, and double is
double's 9.7.
doubles 9.7.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it turns out that's an
4.7.
Imperial Session
Sessions of-
IPA. It's like a
Yes.
triple session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It
why
is
the
it is
corporate
surprisingly
routes-
sessionable.
It's
Yeah.
pretty sessionable for what it is. Yeah.
That's you can do anything. You just have to throw quotes around it. You know,
Right.
Right.
This is a session IPA. Why is there a character on the can doing this?
Yeah.
doing air quotes on the can.
Well, if you try hard enough, anything's sessionable.
It is. Yeah. Depends on how long your session is.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Brian, do you have some craft beer news for us this week?
As it turns out, yes, I do. And I'm going to start off with some bad news. So we've got some brewery closures in the news this week. To begin with, Alan Sprintz announced his retirement and the closure of Hair of the Dog after 29 years in business. The actual tasting room closure won't happen until, quote, sometime this summer, as they still have beers to release, in fact. In the announcement, he made it clear that he is not selling the brewery and kind of cryptically said he's leaving it open to future collaboration. So what that exactly means, like if he's keeping the brewery but not operating it, just doing occasional special deals, I don't know. Hair of the Dog has been incredibly influential on the beer world, and we even have a popular local beer here that's based upon Hair of the Dog Adam. So we're across the country from them. So
One of our first home brews, Brian, was Hair of the Dog Oatmeal Stout.
Oh yeah,
Which, yep.
What was
Which
it?
was actually inspired more by actual dog hair in
Yeah.
the beer than that.
That is correct. I'm like, was there any kind of inspiration
We
there?
may have had a very curious and nosy brew dog at the time who got around the mash tun and that. So
Or the fur was just everywhere.
it was,
so
yes, that too.
So I'm glad we had Alan on the show before he retired. If you want to check out that show, it was episode 145 from back in October of 2018. So
Good
that
stuff.
was fun. And Portland, Oregon, which is where Hair of the Dog is, or was, is taking another hit because the Modern Times has announced that they are closing multiple locations, including the one in Portland, but they're also closing Oakland, Santa Barbara, and Los Angeles. And by the end of the week, so probably by the time you're hearing this, they're either closing or have closed already. 4 locations in the Southwest, including California, will remain open as the company, quote, steps away from the opacity and unanchored optimism of the past, unquote. That's their words.
Okay.
And they deal with the very bad financial situation they find themselves in. That part is my
Is
quote.
that
So,
okay? Well, they're laying it out there.
Modern Times cites both the pandemic and global declines in the craft beer industry as the reasons for the closures. Both came at a terrible time for them. They were in the process of a rapid expansion when the pandemic hit, and that's taken other breweries down in the past. Yep. My guess is the scandals from last year didn't help them out very much either, because they were named in the rat magnet stuff.
They were.
Yes,
they were in there.
Yes. So I'm actually starting to get a little worried that we may not have yet seen the full financial and business impact of the pandemic, and we may see more of this in the coming year. So
there were some conversations on Facebook last night about, the brewery closures and that. And I do think 2022 is going to be a rough year.
Yeah.
Guys, a lot of breweries had 2020 and 2021 where there was, the stimulus money that went out that helped a lot of these breweries goes on. We were already trending to see more closures in 2019. It would just it would make sense that we would have seen more closures, but they weren't there. And I'm afraid some people are going to, their plug's going to be pulled. I think it's going to be painful.
People were holding out, hoping that things would be gangbusters after everything got past it. But I don't think anybody anticipated it would have gone on this long and people would be scraping by now. Business is closer to being normal now and people are doing okay-ish now. But if you were already struggling before, this was not a great time for you. So
yeah.
Best of luck to the people out there.
Man, got to do what they can. We wish them all the best. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We do need to take a break, but we'll be back very soon with Fossil Cove Brewing. All right.
It's tasty beer.
It is.
Blackberry cream.
Is good.
Nice blackberry flavor on that. Quite nice. Yeah, you know what? I should have let us.
That's some good news. Or not good news. That's some news to talk about. It's the
Some
fruit
news.
game.
Okay. On the fruit game, huh?
Oh yeah, that's one of the big things that's going on right now is fruit pricing and stuff. So this beer is we're actually we bought enough blackberry while we could to make enough beer to get through the cans we have, and we'll quit making it.
Oh, you
wow.
Okay, because of fruit costs.
Yeah. So the blackberry was $1,000 a drum, and it's a drum per 20 barrels.
Okay.
And so then the cost went up 100%.
Oh, so it's like $2,000 a drum now.
It's $2,000 a drum so that's $1,000. It's $100 a barrel. Basically,
you know where I've noticed prices are in my chicken wings.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We were just talking about that earlier.
Wings are like $2 a pop.
$2
now.
freaking dollars
for
a wing.
a wing, man.
Yep.
Oh, if that.
Gosh.
I mean, there's a local barbecue place that, long story short, that used to have really cheap wings on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And they're like $3 a pop now almost.
Right.
$2.49, $2.99, something like that. It's insane.
Yeah.
I can remember places, and this was probably a while ago with my old self, but I remember 25-cent wing night.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Gosh.
I think that there were places even close inside the perimeter that had like 3 for $1 night for wings, 3 wings for $1 or something like that, like Wednesday nights or something. That wasn't uncommon just because chicken didn't used to be a fortune.
I remember as it went up, it was like $5 for a 10 rack or a dozen or something. I mean, that's still only 50 cents a wing.
Yeah,
compared to $2 or $3, man.
Right.
This is a chicken wing tragedy.
I have personally spent $12 for 6 wings recently.
See?
So
same.
Gosh, man.
My love
you
for
gotta
wings.
have your wings. You gotta have your wings. Like I'll fork out $12 when I'm craving wings. I just will. But
man, I gotta have wings. Absolutely. Guys, Corbin here. Some shout out for your beer. Corbin.
Oh, what's up, Corbin?
Hey, Corbin.
That's
Look at that,
awesome.
Like that long-haired dachshund, Corbin.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hey,
a
Corbin.
beaut.
Corbin's been coming in since like day one, man.
See, those longtime fans, man, gotta love it. Absolutely. And here's one of our friends, Ken. So he's got a question for you there. Ken Flemings. Do you guys know that name?
No, never heard
no,
of him.
I know
Okay.
Memphis Brewing Company, but I don't think I know Ken.
All right, gotcha. Ken and Ken.
Ken and Ken.
Yeah, I don't know him
Yeah.
either. So
Hey Ken, I got a question for you. So Ken is a huge collector of Breweriana, which is always a tough word for me to say, but he's got just a phenomenal collection of Georgia Breweriana, and we've even got our mini museum over there.
yes,
I guess we need to take the Christmas sweaters off the beer bottles.
probably
So-
a lot of beer bottles that are like
Yeah.
100 years old
Yeah,
or something like
right.
that. Yeah.
Oh,
But
cool.
Ken, do you have any old Georgia beer recipes? We were talking old ancient brewing last week, and Ken is the one person I thought of that may have some recipes around.
Possibly in the original brewmaster's hand too,
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd
on
love
old timey
wow.
yellowed paper. Yeah.
that would be fun to find an old defunct beer recipe. Find the old Atlantic Ale recipe.
Man, talking about like old beer recipes, we're doing a collaboration with our local homebrew club right now,
Okay.
and we're doing a version of Old Toe Sucker, which was a New Albion beer.
Okay. All right.
That's
The
actually in
old
my
toe
notes.
Sucker.
That's
Oh,
in my
cool.
notes.
Yeah,
That's
cool,
good.
cool.
Right on.
It is.
Yeah, we've been posting about it. So
I
Yeah,
spotted that.
Jack,
yes.
yeah, Jack, who started the brewery, he lives in the area, and so we've
All right.
been like getting together with them and have that going in some barrels right now.
What a name.
Old toe
old toe
sucker.
sucker.
Yeah.
There's actually
Yeah.
some toe sucking going on at the beer release back in the 70s whenever they first
See?
released it. So
Yeah.
Okay.
And Arkansas knows something about strange
Oh,
names.
that's true. I didn't even put
there's
that together
Toad
until you just
Suck,
said- Yep.
Toad
Suck
Suck,
days.
Bald
Yeah.
Knob, Toad Suck.
Oh yeah.
Yep. He went to school in Conway.
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I know all about Toad Suck
Yeah.
days.
Yep.
You know, the funny thing is, I think there was a Sierra Nevada remake of it at one point in time,
Yeah.
but they wouldn't call it that. I think they call it like Ken and Jack's or Jack and Ken's Ale or something
Yeah,
like
Something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they didn't want to call it Old Toe Sucker.
Yeah.
Man, if
We're-
anybody out there, if anybody out there in the ether has a bottle of that, we'd love to have
Yes.
one so
Yeah,
we can
send it our way. You can come.
There
You
you
can
go.
come to the release party.
Yep.
We're gonna call it that.
There
We're
we
not
go.
ashamed.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I didn't see an indication of how long ago that was made. Maybe if I looked on Untapped, I could probably.
What'd you guys say?
Oh.
70s? The original
Yeah.
one?
I mean,
Old
New
Toe
Albion?
Sucker,
Yeah.
yeah. The original would have been
70s.
what, late 70s?
Mid,
Yep.
late
Okay.
70s,
76 or
they were
78,
they were
you
open
said?
for like 5 years, 6
Yeah.
years,
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
So
76
Gotcha.
to 82, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
pretty
had
cool.
we had I guess the oldest Georgia beer I've had is like 95 recently, back in the day, but when our beer laws passed, I had a bottle of a 1995 beer from Dogwood Brewing that is now closed. And so I guess at the time it was 26 years old, 2022. I guess it would have been in 2017. But anyhow, it was still quite good. It was a dark like Christmas ale. So it had some of the,
Yeah.
those beers that they're oxidized a little bit, but it's
helps.
okay.
yeah,
Like-
like in a,
Yeah.
in a good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like Jack and Ken's Ale. It was labeled as a black barley wine. It was released for the 30th anniversary, and I have a check-in for me going back to 2014, and I'm thinking, based upon my comments, I held on to the bottle for a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was like 2013 or
Okay.
2012
I
or
think it
something
was-
like that.
I think it was even brewed. I think it was brewed in 2010. We have the original brew logs. I don't know if
Oh, that's
Sierra
pretty
Nevada
cool.
knows that or not, but we have them. So
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
they provided them to the homebrew club, and
Yeah.
so we kind of used those to guide the process. And then one of the homebrew guys here had also brewed a clone recipe too, so I used that to try to build our recipe around.
It's in it. So Ken here's got a little. He said he's been researching, but doesn't have a recipe yet. So talking about K Fleming's Revived Gold Crest 51, popular beer from the 30s to 50s.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Brewed by a
Whoa,
Mississippi
Mississippi
brewery.
brewery.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what Lazy Magnolia did some stuff like that with. They did some old brews and that, or that sounds like they would be a good candidate for something for reviving something like that. Talking about having the brew logs, so local brewery here, Max Lagers, JR, shout out JR. He's got the Bold Monk and Max Lagers here. Max Lagers is, depending on who you ask, debated the oldest brew pub in the state. And that was kind of cool. I was at like the first year he's open, I was there, and then was there for his 20th anniversary. So been drinking with the guy, 20 years. But one of our first craft breweries in Georgia was in Helen, Georgia, and they did a brewery called Hellenbach. And a few years ago, they did a revival batch of it, and we got together, did a little show with them, talking about launching that. They did the batch there with Max Lagers, and then a year or 2 years later, we're talking with August Shell Brewing, and we get to talking about us having common friends there, and they mentioned they knew the guys from the that brewed Hellenbach, and it turned out that when they did the revival batch, they reached out to August Shell for the recipe because August Shell had contract brewed them for a while.
Oh, cool.
So they had to get it from them. And I'm like, it's weird how much all this stuff is interconnected.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah. And just passed around.
Right.
Have you guys moved on to the session IPA? Did I see you guys?
It's just hit the table here. Yeah.
Did you guys open it?
Oh yeah.
Are you ready for
Tyler's ready.
Tyler's like, let's go.
I'm gonna grab one of those because I'm ready.
Yeah, grab an extra of all of them.
So I moved quickly.
No.
That's all right.
I caught you opening one. I was like, oh man, we were in the middle of a conversation.
There we go. Let's go.
Trying to do it on the sly.
How do you guys like the session?
Oh, look at this. This
good so far.
This is impressive.
Oh, there we go.
So Ken, bring chill one of those bottles and come in and drink one with us. If you got 5 or 6 full.
Oh wow.
Well, Brian, can you grab our Atlantic?
Oh,
can?
wow.
I know it's in bad shape, but I do have one over there.
Oh, yeah, hang on one
One
second.
of the old oil cans there. So
Is anyone sharing?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I don't need my own.
I'm tired of sharing with you boys.
I'll go have these with you.
So here, give me a zoom, Nate. Thank you, sir. So this is
cool.
But one of the old oil can style Atlantic
Whoa,
yellows. It's not in great shape, but it is
really cool.
It's a little beat up, but you
can.
That is
you
so
can see the logo very clearly.
Yeah,
on
the
it,
logo's
though.
still in there clear.
Actually, pretty bright too.
Yep.
How old is that?
Is that some of the old paint that has arsenic in it?
Ken, can you tell me timeline on this? 40s, 50s, maybe? I bet Ken would know this better than I would. And I think the oldest bottle I have is 1890s.
1890.
The one, the clear one there on the
Oh
end.
yeah, probably. All frosted looking.
Yeah.
I'll move that back over there.
Thank you,
Has
sir.
it been opened?
This one had, all the ones I've got have been open. I've only got empty bottles here. But
is there beer in there?
I've got beer in a Budweiser can with a pull tab.
Oh, the old pull rings. I remember stepping on those at the beach. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
the old pull tabs.
So
I was at an ultimate frisbee tournament that we host here in Fayetteville, and some guy from Georgia or Alabama had it in his cooler. It's just been bouncing around for years. And somehow I ended up with it that day. Yeah, it's cool.
Those things are fun, man. I like old beer history like that.
Pull tab that's been in a cooler that's been bouncing around for all of those years.
All of those years.
That is a long time to be toting a beer around. That At that point, it's either a good luck charm or I don't know, a curse or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot of good luck charms then in our cooler.
Lots of them. I have
been chilling for a while.
I have a bottle of Dos Equis that some of my friends that I traded beer with regularly. It got to be a habit that you put that same bottle of Dos Equis in there, no matter who. So I bet that I don't know how old it is. I currently have it, but it was passed around a good bit. Old bottle of.
And you've probably been sitting on it for a few years. So I'm guessing it's probably
like
a decade old.
On it.
Yeah, exactly. It's seen more of the world than I have, for sure.
Did you guys
the old luggage with this passport stamps on it?
Did you guys really get involved in like home brewing because of that side? Because of like the sharing of like older cellar beers or just like new stuff from around the country?
So
I'm always interested in like how people got into craft beer.
So the way Brian and I were both cigar smokers.
Okay,
met through some cigar friends, and then discovered that we both enjoyed craft beer. So we just started talking about craft beer and going out and enjoying beer and such. And we got sick of chasing rare beers.
Yeah.
And the beer that really drove us over the edge was, it used to be when Founders KBS would come here,
Yeah. Yeah.
you'd have to chase the trucks around
Oh, yeah.
to get one bottle.
Stand in line to get one bottle.
And we said, we're
Right.
sick of this. Let's learn to brew. It's like, we know we won't be able to brew KBS out of the gate, but let's figure it out. So we started with a lousy ESB, and then a mediocre oatmeal stout.
Yep.
And then a little bit better something else. And then we did a Saison that we've won 6 or 8 medals for over the years. And it took us 3.5, maybe 4 years from the time we started home brewing. But we did a Mexican cake clone that we got
it's like
some first place medals for. So
it would be kind of like the Shogaveza, like just all those like Mexican cake would be like you would have all those
Mexican hot chocolate kind of peppers, hot chocolate, all
peppers,
that.
Big chocolate, cinnamon, and typically a little bit of heat on it, depending on Westbrook's. When you get it from Westbrook, sometimes a lot of heat and sometimes a little bit of heat. So
they are watching. This is the tasting room right now. That's pretty awesome.
Fossil Cove tasting room.
Hello, tasting room.
Good to see everybody, and hope you enjoy those beers.
Hopefully, Ken saw that can. I put it back up for him because he said
was there.
he
I
missed
thought
it.
that's what you were doing.
He's doing his research. He's
probably Googling it, looking through his
that's awesome.
his archive of various ancient cans.
Well, good stuff, man.
So
all right, I guess we. Yes, sir.
I was gonna talk about the session IPA that you guys are drinking.
Let's hold that. Let's get back into the show recording. We will talk about that beer.
All
Let's
right,
do it. Oh, here we go. Before we get back in, Atlantic Ale Cone Top dates 1950 and 55. So run through the bottling line with modification using a cap. There we go. So that one's from 1950 to 1955.
Cool. Only 1950. I'm a little disappointed. I thought it was going to be old.
70 years old, man.
I thought it was going to be old. Jeez.
Thanks, Ken.
Ken is the man.
Yes,
so much knowledge there. All right, let's do this.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
What in tarnation?
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Remember, all episodes are available on demand, so if you missed the broadcast, get the podcast. Beer Guys Radio is available on all popular and unpopular podcasting apps. Now let's get back to Fossil Cove Brewing Company.
You've got to change your wording to let folks know we're also on the podcast part.
Oh, I gotta do that. That's not the unpopular one we were talking about. That's a very popular one.
Yeah, we'll work it in there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I need to update that. One day.
You know what? Right now, we are drinking a session IPA from Fossil Cove. It's got a groovy dinosaur on the can, which, I mean, right there, you just want to grab this thing up, man, when there's a dinosaur there. But you know what? The first thing that comes to my mind when I take a sip of this, it's very bright. It's a very clean, bright beer. So, guys, can you tell us a little bit about your session IPA?
It's the session IPA became a pretty popular style. 6, 7, 8 years ago?
Something like that. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, nice. About 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was really becoming a real popular deal in the IPA world because so many IPAs were high alcohol. 6.5%, 7.5%.
Right,
is the norm on the West Coast. And they won't even sell it to you in a 10-ounce glass. So we were talking about it, and it became a popular style there for a couple of years, and we at the tasting room, all of us, especially back then in the early years, drank a lot of beer at the tasting room, and we're always drinking the IPA, and it's a 6% beer, and we just decided it would be nice to play around with making a session IPA and something a little lower alcohol that we could put out into the market. I think we're still the only one locally that's out in the market regularly. Maybe there's one other. So there's a good spot in the market for it, and there's good demand, not only from the people who work here, but also our tasting room patrons. It's one of our most popular beers now. So
gotcha. Yeah. Sorry, go right ahead there.
Well, I was gonna say it let us tap into some of the fruitier hops too, some of the Simcoe and the Mosaic, and some of those that like I've been saying, when this beer came out 5 or 6 years ago, we're starting to come on the scene and weren't quite you didn't have the exposure that you do now to those hops.
Well, this one hits my sweet spot for a non-Northeast IPA. because I'm not a big West Coast guy. I don't like the
I'm right
bitterness.
there with you.
I don't like that bite, but I do like a little bit. And this has got a nice fruity note. There's citrus forward there. There's a little bit of resinous. There is some bitterness, but it's not knocking your teeth out, punching your palate. So there's a balance there. And I dig this. This
one's got a nice feel for a session IPA. A lot of times session IPAs strike me as feeling a little watery. This seems light without feeling watery. So I do like that. I was thinking with the session IPA, that's like the early forerunner or precursor or the allusion to the more healthier beers we've seen come along, because it started there.
Yeah.
But before anything else, it was session IPAs for people that were trying to be a little bit more healthier, whatever.
True, yeah.
And it's moved lower and lower alcohol and more interesting additives to try to give at least the illusion of health, if not actual real health. You know what I mean?
Sure.
No doctor here, so I can't really tell anybody.
This is not medical advice, right?
Not medical advice.
Guys, what's the ABV on this one? Do I see? Is that
4.9?
4.9.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, see? Have you a couple, man. Don't feel bad about it.
That's right. Have you?
Enjoy it. Enjoy a session. You know what, guys? I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but your brewery is in Arkansas.
It is.
That's something we found out about that. And so, as I mentioned to you before we got on the air, I've lived in Arkansas. Lived in the northeast part of the state, lived in Fort Smith, Little Rock. Craft beer wasn't real big there when I left. And when I lived in Little Rock, which I guess the last time was around 2000, Flying Saucer was the place.
Oh, yeah. I was a member of the Flying Saucer.
Yeah, man. So you go there, you get the Flying Saucer. They were our version of that over here. We have a place called Taco Mac.
Okay.
That is the 300 taps in that. So it's really good. Guys, we're gonna have to pause just a second. We're getting some.
It's starting to rain a little bit.
Oh, is it? That's your still roof.
That's how. It's literally that loud.
Okay.
So we got little pockets. It might slow down a little bit here in a few seconds.
All right. You know what? Let's give about 5 seconds of silence because I might be able to sample that and pull it out of the audio.
Okay. Cool.
All right, that should work for me.
Yeah.
We'll make that work. If y'all are listening now and it's got a little bit noisy to us, we've got some rain and they've got a gorgeous tin roof there at the brewery, but we can still
we're upstairs in the right underneath the roof.
So you're
in our
right
office.
there, huh?
Yeah.
You're right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how it works for your format. If we have to, we could probably run
downstairs.
and
You can just tell it to stop.
What's
like, go on, rain.
What's that song?
Right?
Tin Roof.
Yeah,
Rusted.
Yeah. That's an Athens, Georgia band. But
yes, it
anyhow,
is.
back on track here. Arkansas craft beer. When I moved away, it wasn't that big of a deal. We had the Flying Saucer. It did have, hundreds of beers, just taps all over the wall.
Oh, yeah.
You probably had Vino's at that time in Little Rock.
Yeah.
Brew pub.
Yeah.
Like the OGs. I mean, they're like early 90s, but yeah, Vino's for sure.
Right. And that's so when I go back over, I still have family in Northeast Arkansas. But the part that he's in, they don't really get a lot of it there. How is craft beer across the state now? How is craft beer in Arkansas?
Oh, it's good. It's growing. You were talking about Georgia growing really fast. I mean, we've got 50 plus now.
Yeah, I
pushing
mean,
50.
when we started, when this place opened, there were like five, something like that. There were just a handful.
So in 10 years, we've increased it by tenfold.
Yeah, I mean, and you're starting to see too, like all of the metropolitan areas, like they kind of like 2012 to 2015, a lot of breweries started growing. I mean, we had Benton County, which is north of us, didn't go wet until
2 years after we opened.
2014.
Yeah,
2014, something like that. So now we've got quite a few breweries there, but you're starting to see like expansion into some of the more like rural areas and like smaller towns now too. So I mean, we have a lot of dry counties in Arkansas.
Almost
So I mean, that's always just something like I think there's one brewery in a dry county in all of Arkansas.
Oh, that's it. Well, speaking of, we were talking about Jonesboro, where the college is, Arkansas State. That's a dry county. You got to run to the county line, to get you.
And there's not open. They opened a new one there. Yeah.
Is there a brewery there?
Yeah, they just opened. It's like Native Dog, I think. Is
there. That's right.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I said the wrong brewery, but I'm pretty sure it's Native Dog.
I remember when I was over there, you could serve alcohol if you were a private club. So being a private club means you'd come in and you'd say, "I want to join your club." You give them $2 and then you were a member of the private.
Yeah, and you have to sign. You have to sign in when you. That's right. Enter.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, the fun alcohol laws, man, so crazy.
I didn't realize there was
weird.
so many dry counties. I knew famously there's distilleries in certain counties in it was Tennessee or Kentucky, maybe Kentucky. Anyway, dry counties where there are people distilling, but you couldn't actually buy it there because it's a dry county. I assume that was an anomaly at this point, but apparently not.
Let me throw a shout out to Blytheville, Arkansas, where you can go through a drive-through liquor store. They will give you a fifth of Jim Beam, a 2-liter of Coke, and 2 glasses of ice to go with it.
That's great.
That sounds like date night.
Yeah, right.
That's innovation.
That's it, man.
That's
yeah,
great.
they'll take care of you some places. So
They know what's up.
it is, yeah. So, wow, 50 breweries there, man. I would have had no idea. You know, just from what I see on the part that I go through.
Yeah, and we're Northwest Arkansas is one of, if not the fastest growing areas in the country right now too. So
right.
There's a lot of room for growth. It's pretty awesome to be on the front wave of it.
I was just thinking that based upon your numbers and how you're growing, you do have the advantage of, you look around and other states may have more breweries and have gone faster, but a lot of those places are contracting a bit because they've gone way ahead, and you still have a lot of the horizon ahead of you before you have to worry about oversaturation and other issues like that, provided all of your beer laws stay favorable to you.
Yeah.
Well, that's
one of the. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it's one of the easiest states in the country to open a brewery in. I mean, by far, because he and I have both been in the guild and stuff, and it's talking to the other Southeast breweries and talking to you guys earlier. It is, we're very fortunate in our ability to operate the way we do.
Since you mentioned that, what are the laws in Arkansas as far as like direct sales, distribution, and all that go?
Oh, it's all ever since we've never really had to fight for much other than protecting our self-distribution rights. So the day I opened, I could have a tasting room, brew, and there's a few restrictions that have changed, but nothing too major. Mostly for larger businesses are what the laws have changed have benefited. But for us, we were able to do everything. In Fayetteville, we were the only place. Well, when we first opened, you could get beer to go because we were able to sell growlers to go on Sunday, and that is just something that the beer law or the brewery laws in Arkansas superseded the city laws.
I got you. Okay, see,
yeah.
It's funny seeing those little loopholes how some things work out.
Yeah, I mean, Arkansas alcohol laws, they're so like city and county based and localized. Okay. You can be in a wet county and have dry towns. And so it's very like, it's really like what the people in that like a pretty small geographic area want. And that's kind of like how it goes. Yeah.
You guys should pick like your least favorite person in town and make like his address dry. Like just like literally the one house.
Can't drink at his house.
Oh, that's funny.
Man. The whole town would have to be in on that. I feel bad for that guy.
Poor guy.
I can't do that to him.
I'm sure we could get it on the ballot.
I mean, technically it can happen, but
it's interesting to see, the changes all over. Some places you can't sell beer that's cold. It has to be warm beer, So
Oklahoma used to be
for
like
a while,
that.
they like switched over a few years ago.
Yeah, it would be if it was cold, it had to be 3.2 or less.
I feel sorry for all their IPAs.
Right,
got to serve them warm.
They're hot IPAs. Well, we do need to take a break. You're listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show, and we'll be back very soon with more from Fossil Cove Brewing Company.
What's next, guys?
Beer laws.
Yes.
Dude, that rain slowed down just as we cut.
It did,
That's
man.
so
Yeah,
funny.
it did. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. We took a little bit of a risk. The office was a better venue.
Got to roll the dice sometimes.
Yeah, we're sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it working out okay?
Yeah, man.
I think
we're
it's
good.
fine.
We're
Yeah.
good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Andrew, I want to say I appreciate you reaching out to me to ask me about that because it is, our main goal is we're not trying to be pests. We just want to make sure your show sounds good.
We want you guys to have a good show too.
That's it. Everybody wins, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Win.
Everybody
That's okay. They had a good time nerding out on the equipment, so it's fun. So Tyler's got a short film he made that's in the Rogers Short Film Festival coming up.
Really? Very good.
Yeah, he's a creative film genius over here.
Yeah,
dude, that's
there
awesome.
anyways.
Now,
I went to school
is the film about beer?
No.
Okay. All right.
Well,
all right.
actually, one of our beers does make an appearance, and there's actually a close up on it.
Was it really?
Yes. I can tell you about that.
Cool,
There's
cool.
an insert shot of a paleo being like put down.
What's your film
stuff,
called?
man?
It's called Flight. I'm not going to get into it right now, but thanks
Tell
for
us
bringing
about
that up.
it. So
I went
is
to
it-
school for filmmaking, but the beer
Okay.
business pays the bills. So
I got you, man. Well, over here in Georgia, the last few years we've turned into
hey
a
man,
big
Atlanta's got all those Marvel movies. There's a ton of
Yeah,
movies being
man.
made in Atlanta. Atlanta's a mecca for filmmaking for sure.
Absolutely.
So speaking of that, I know the news went around a little bit, but I'm not sure if people outside of Georgia know it that much. But in the last Avengers movie,
Yeah.
when
Yes.
Thor
Creature
is on
comforts.
the ship,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
drinking,
yeah.
he's drinking
Oh, yeah.
creature comforts, man.
I know. I love that, and I love that
Yeah.
that version of Thor. But like craft beer, especially Georgian craft beer, went nuts over that. I thought that
Yeah.
was really
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
we love.
placement.
Yeah,
Well,
we love that.
yeah.
Creature Comforts rented the theater in Athens and did like a screening.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Cool.
Yeah, it's so
And there
cool.
was we saw Russo was doing an interview, some panel interview. He's wearing a Tropicalia shirt.
Yeah, that's right. That's
So
right.
of
yeah.
course Georgia's just losing their mind. That's
Oh, yeah,
Georgia
no.
beer, man. That's Georgia beer.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
he was a
rad.
big fan. Asked him to send it over, and they're involved. They got a partnership
I
with
think
him on
I wasn't
something
going to say that because I wasn't
Yeah.
sure, but I think he is somehow involved
in
in
a
the
possible
LA brewery.
a West
in the
Coast
LA brewery.
something
I don't
with
know
them.
that for
one of the Russo brothers is.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly.
But I don't. But that may be dirty lies and rumors. So I didn't
yeah,
want to say anything.
that's the thing.
I mean,
I haven't heard
he's
anything
got to
about
be
it
at
recently.
least. They've got to be at least aware of craft beer to put. You
don't just like
sure.
stumble upon
It's a
creature
yeah,
comforts
it's a,
and be
it's
like,
a
we're gonna-
close-up
yeah.
shot of tropicality.
Yeah.
Well, dude's
We
wearing
were-
their
I think
Tropicalia
there's-
shirt too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
We-
there's a. I think there's beer. Oh, beer. What's the one down in one of the ones in Louisiana? They're in a major movie too.
Oh,
They came. The owners came through the tasting room one time, and
it's not Great Raft, is it?
no, it'll come to me.
Yeah,
It'll come to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember the owners coming
They came.
in.
They came in the tasting rooms back when we were first.
Yeah, when
really
I was
young.
Yeah,
still.
I guess what we were saying is like when you come to Arkansas to make your movie,
Put us in
hit
it.
us up. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we've got
here's
there's some
the fun
beer.
thing.
There's some beer in it for you for sure.
All right, there's a little TV show on a little show on Netflix called Ozark.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
Oh
in
yeah.
Ozarks, but is actually filmed like.
but
10
it's shot in
miles from my
Atlanta
house.
or it's
Yeah,
shot.
Oh,
like 10
is
miles
it
from my
really?
house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very similar with the pines and everything, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, they shot it. You guys get all those tax breaks out there.
Brian
But-
almost
but I
ran
think
over
that-
Jason Bateman one time. Almost ran him over in a crosswalk once.
Did
Nice.
you really?
Yeah,
This is
Yeah.
actually a true
This is a true
story.
story.
We had a moment. It was a bad moment, and he possibly remembers me for it. I don't know, but
Send him a clip of this show.
I mean,
I wasn't-
near-death
yeah, exactly.
experiences.
I wasn't paying attention. He was walking through a nice part of Buckhead. I think he's staying probably in one of the hotels there, and
Fuckhead.
I didn't. Yeah, exactly. That's the name of the area. And, I wasn't paying attention. I came to a stop late and into the crosswalk and almost hit him. And we locked eyes for a moment, and it was kind of like
Wow.
a what the heck, dude? And I'm like, oh my God, and then the moment was gone.
That's what
Yeah.
Invite him on the
And he's
show.
gone.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, come on.
It's
Can
like
we
I
pay-
nearly hit you with a car. The least you can do is waste your time on this show.
Are we allowed to dare Jason Bateman to come on your show?
I think we should
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, you're- you are.
encouraged
You're
to.
encouraged to
Dare.
come on this show.
Dare.
He is,
calling you out right
Dare.
now.
he is welcome here anytime. I swear I won't drive over him.
Guys, I believe that the representation
La Brea.
of the dinosaur in the tar pit
Yeah.
may be inaccurate to how they really acted in tar pit.
Oh, they were.
We don't
That's why there's
know.
somebody in
Yeah.
there. They were enjoying it too
Who
much.
can really
know,
say?
man.
Like,
Give me a
who can
good
really
night
say?
I mean, this dude's kicking back, enjoying a beer.
Oh, your
in
king
the
got a
tar
little
pit.
dented, dude.
Oh yeah, that one took a little
It's
hit in the
still
nail,
good.
didn't it?
UPS, come
Yeah.
on.
So
There you go.
a funny thing about this beer, well, not funny thing, an interesting thing about this beer is it was like one of our first ones that we distributed. So
The first beer we
Yeah.
ever
yeah, so
distributed.
this was like what we were known for. It's
Yeah.
still kind of what we're known for across Northwest Arkansas.
It's paid the bills.
This pays the bills. This is
It's
There
paid the
you
bills
go.
for a long, long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff.
The can does look like it's been moving around since you first distributed it. So, it's.
Oh yeah, for sure. We just
wow,
this is
Brian,
actually
Look at
we're
Brian
probably
throwing
only
shade.
it's the mail. It's the postal service. That's fine.
Right,
it's
yeah.
not on you
I
guys,
mean, you
but it
know.
is pretty beat up.
These guys send us beer, Brian. Gonna talk trash, man.
No, we do actually get a lot of cans that are fairly dinged up. It's just
I
just
believe it.
We get a lot of beer mailed to us too. It's
we know.
it's a challenge. I think Andrew does a really good job though. He puts way more effort
As
into
long
it.
as it doesn't leak.
That's right.
Like, I had like
That's
one
exactly-
time that like beer
I've
showed
seen
back up
someone
on my
ship
porch.
beer in a hefty trash bag. I've never received it that way before. So that
Yeah.
was
You put it in a trash
That's
bag.
one
too?
way to
I
do
put
it.
it in like Ziploc
bags.
freezer bags. You
just
know, I
no
don't- we
box
don't-
at all, just a bag with a sticker.
Yeah,
with
just
the
a
label
bag,
on it.
and write like beer on it, like beer, you know, like handle
Beer.
with care.
Atlanta
Like,
or
Yeast
bust.
samples for
Yeah.
sure.
It's
Yeah,
weird. It
yeast
just like
samples.
works. Yep.
Yeast samples. Stephen Pete, we were talking home brewing here. Stephen Pete with Kettle Rock Brewing.
Hey, Steven.
He's
Hey,
there with
Steven.
the
Hey, how's it going? Cheers, man.
Club. Jay Brantley, Jay won. I guess it would have been
Incredible Jay Brantley.
2019, Brian.
Yes.
He won. We haven't done it in a couple years for the excuse we're using is pandemic and life being busy, which is actually true.
Yes.
But we did a Best of Georgia Beer Awards for our local area, and Jay won Best Homebrewer.
All right, Jay.
Congratulations,
Congratulations.
He was
dude.
awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
He was also named the best brew pub and brewery.
That's right.
Yeah,
I forgot
nominated
about
brewery,
that.
brew pub, beer store, all of the above. He got
Yeah, he's
nominated
kind of
for
a
beer
everything.
celebrity.
Best Beer Fest.
That's right. He was the best beer fest as well.
I mean,
Sounds
we've
like he's
never
best
had
beer.
anyone get. Yeah, we've never had anyone take that many categories.
He's
before.
very versatile.
Yeah.
You should do an all around like best at beer.
Best at beer. That's it.
Best
He
at
definitely would have
beer.
been nominated
all
for
of
that.
it. Jay,
Definitely.
Jay wins hands down.
All the hands down.
It's interesting when you do those that you see people try and stuff the ballots on those sometimes.
Oh, the homebrew club
Definitely.
stuff.
And they'll not just the homebrew, but just like especially favorite beer. There's people that want
Right.
to stuff it.
Online
but
surveys, basically.
They'll misspell the name of the beer, and so then you have 100 votes for a miss in the exact same misspelling.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Oh no!
Throw 'em out.
So, right, you're out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah. It's good
What do you guys
stuff.
think?
Man, you know what? I like it, and I'm going to throw this out there because I have dissed brown ale in the past, just as a generality that I think brown ale, or I used to think I may need to change that because I found a lot more that I've enjoyed lately. Maybe my palate has changed, but I always said that brown ale by itself was boring. But it was the-
like a what's that? What's the one I started drinking? The one in the clear bottle.
Oh, Newcastle. Right?
Newcastle, right?
Yeah,
I like
It is
Newcastle.
boring beer.
yeah. But,
Shots fired.
See,
I
I think it's.
I wish
don't
I'd
think
let
it
you
needs
finish
to be
first before
exciting,
I said
though.
what I said. We said the same. We said it at the same time.
yeah. Yes. But I think that they're great for delivering coffee, coconut, almond, different flavors. I think brown ale is a great base for certain flavors.
And so, to be fair, like this one has coriander and it's a Belgian yeast, and
exactly.
It definitely is not just a brown ale.
Not your
Bring a little
typical brown.
character to
We've
it.
never.
It delivers a little something more than just the brown ale. Though I
Right,
like
sure.
the brown ale,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
not bored by them. So.
See, for that shade you were throwing, they actually didn't send you any of their coffee IPA, Brian.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Well, they didn't know I was going to throw shade.
We totally
Yeah, we
should
should have done that.
It's not preemptive knowledge of this thing. Maybe
Yeah.
they knew. I don't know.
Maybe
No,
we
Brian
can send you
is
some.
a-
So you don't like coffee beers then?
I'm a big
both,
coffee
We're
guy,
both
yeah.
fans of coffee beers, and coffee IPA is something that we do. I enjoy trying them, and
It's the
only
best one in the
couple have been
country.
done well. Okay,
They're-
I
We'll
believe
send,
you,
we'll send
man.
you some.
Yeah,
We'll do a follow up
yeah.
episode.
Hey man,
They
there
are
you go.
difficult to do well, and I've had
They are.
some that were
Yeah.
not pleasant, but I've had some that were marvelous, just
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful.
What was
So,
the one that Loving Cup?
Loving Cup? But they did Bedhead before
Yeah.
that, and both of those were absolutely fantastic.
Shout out to Monday Night Brewing,
Yep.
another local brewery, but
Oh,
they
yeah,
did a
cool.
Loving Cup that was
For
like
those
a
guys.
Yeah.
white chocolate cream coffee mocha
Yeah, it's like
IPA.
a mocha
yeah.
IPA. Yeah,
And I tell you, reading the label, if it was
Yeah.
any other brewery or several other breweries other than them, I would have never touched it.
Right.
And I said, if anybody can hit this, if they're going to put it in a can, they're going to send it out there. It's probably
Monday
good.
Night Brewing. Yeah.
they'll probably they won't put it out if it doesn't
Right.
make it. So
There's a few breweries I'm like, no, I know y'all will put some trash in it. So I mean,
that's like
no
that's,
shade, but
that
I know.
is far too risky
I
of a
know.
purchase. I'm just going to move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, with
we're full of
9,000,
it
there's got to be
tonight,
one,
man.
right?
There does, man. I
Yeah.
saw
Well,
some.
we'll
At least
send
we're
you-
not
we'll-
naming names.
We'll send you some.
Yeah.
We'll send you a can. I will just say this, just to plug it too. It's the coffee that we used is made by one of the best
Top notch.
roasteries in the world,
Okay.
Onyx Coffee Labs, that originated
Cool.
here in Fayetteville.
All
They've
right.
won world competitions, national competitions, countless. And it's a really cool marriage between one of their like Ethiopian modern roasted beans and the
Very
hops.
cool.
So it's a little different than people expect, but I think you guys will like it. It's a really
It's-
popular beer. We should have sent you some, but we're gonna send you some definitely after this. So.
You guys are the best, man. We appreciate
Yeah.
it.
I'll say for the home brewers out there with
Yeah.
the La Brea Brown, somewhere
Oh yeah.
out there is with the American Home Brewing Association. There
Yeah.
is a clone recipe floating around
For
on the
your La
internet.
Brea?
For
Yeah,
the La Brea,
Okay,
yeah. It's
all
like
right,
probably
yeah.
like 5 years ago they did like a 50 clone recipes from 50
Okay.
states kind of deal,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it's in there. So I'm sure someone can find that if
That would be
you're
cool.
into
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Good
I've
stuff.
seen a few of those out there. I really, that was around the time we were homebrewing. So yes, I looked through this and was like, oh, this is cool. I can't believe some people are divulging their recipes, but they're
Some-
clone
Yeah,
sizes,
yeah,
and
they
it's
get
like
out there.
brewing at a homebrew scale is a lot different than brewing
It
professionally.
is.
So,
It is.
And it's
yeah.
cool to get those recipes out nationally too, to where like if you don't come to Arkansas and you want to try something from Arkansas, but not purely from because you're making it.
and then you have to
it
come
gives
to
them an
Arkansas
opportunity do that.
to
Right.
try it.
Right.
Like,
Check it
yeah.
out. Right.
See how it
yeah,
stacks
that's,
up.
That's what's pretty cool.
That's a good point.
It
It's a
is.
very good
Yeah.
point.
That's tasty. That's tasty.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Nate, let's get back at it, man. Let's do this.
Come on, bro. I just stopped raining, man. For like 20 minutes.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Cannonball coming.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. I want to give a quick shout out to one of our great radio affiliates, KLID 1340 AM in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Catch Beer Guys Radio on KLID every Saturday at 4 p.m. Now let's get back to Fossil Cove Brewing Company.
Fossil Cove Brewing Company. Brian, I've got another beer in my hand from Fossil Cove here. And there's so many great dinosaurs on here. Very colorful dinosaurs.
All the greatest. I got Stegosaurus over here.
We killed it with the
That's
dinosaurs,
dope,
guys.
man. That's
Yep,
dope.
yep. Makes
I've
sense.
got
Yep.
a La Brea Brown in my hand here, which is a Belgian brown ale. And there is which dinosaur is this? It kind of looks like a T-Rex, but I think not.
On
this
the La
is
Brea,
this
on
would
the
be
La Brea.
this would be
On
our
the La
first.
Brea.
Yeah, that's like T-Rex.
It's
Okay.
a guy.
Blue
He's
T-Rex.
T-Rex.
Dinosaur?
Yeah.
But man, he's
His
got
arms are a little long for a T-Rex.
You know what? You're right.
So,
they are a little long.
It
Go
might
with
be
Velociraptor.
But wouldn't it
Close
have been
enough.
It
cool?
might be
Yeah.
right.
It would have been fun to have him have the hands too short and him struggling to take a sip of his
That would
beer.
have been fun.
So, but he's enjoying the tar pit. He's kicked back like it's a hot tub.
With the snifter, the tiny
Yeah,
hands. like,
just right there,
And you
man.
just can't reach his mouth.
Just so
Poor guy.
close.
That'd
so
be
sad,
fantastic.
So sad. Which is why he decided to just stay in the tar pit and die.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, can you tell us a
Depression.
little bit here about this beer?
Yeah, so this is a Belgian brown ale. This is actually the 5th recipe that we ever brewed. So this would be the 5th batch of beer. Is that right? 6th, maybe, batch of beer that I ever brewed on our original system. And when it's a Belgian brown ale, so it's actually a beer that I tried to emulate from Pike Brewing Company up in Seattle, Washington.
Mhm.
So
okay.
we bought our equipment used from a brewery up in Port Townsend, Washington that shut down. It was called Water Street Brewing Company. And when I was going, just long story short, I had the opportunity to buy the equipment when I first started out and before I even went to brewmaster school. And flew up there, and while I was up there, went buying the equipment, went to Pike's Brewing Company for the first time, and they had it's called Tandem, I think is the name of it. I still have the shirt, I believe, because I love the beer so much I bought a shirt. But it was a little heavier beer. I think it was closer to 8%, but it was a Belgian brown ale brewed with coriander. So once I had my own brewery, I was like, this is might as well now. I never even tried to do it as a home brewer, so make a recipe like it. And so I just was playing around, And I had two of the local businesses come in. One of it's called Grubs, and one was called Ham and Trees. And those two guys were there, and I had just carbonated and I just put it on tap, and they were trying the other beers that we had. And I gave them that. And I was like, hey, just tell me what you guys think about this beer. I just playing around with something, told them the story behind it, and they both go, okay, we'll take that. And I was like, oh, that wasn't necessarily what I was hoping for. But okay. And so that was like the origin story. And Grubs doesn't carry it anymore, I don't think. They're more of a college bar. But Ham and Trees, that original account, I would call them our first account. It was the first keg I ever dropped off in the back of my Jeep, was and is still one of our best accounts. And it's where I eat lunch, sometimes 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
it is really cool. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
That's it's a really unusual style to be a brewery's most popular beer, is what I was noticing.
Yeah.
Like I would not have
Brown.
thought of that as being a thing, but oh my gosh, this beer, as it warms up, like many brown ales do, and part of the reason I like a brown ale, I don't think they're boring, is they open up and they improve as they warm a bit. This one,
of course,
absolutely improves a great deal.
Okay.
Especially this one in a can. It's just got like a really big following here in Fayetteville, just because it's been around since 2012. And
10 years now.
Yeah, it's been around.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been readily available almost everywhere. And there's people that if they're drinking Fossil Cove, that's what they're drinking. They try our other stuff, but then they go back to the brown.
Go back to that.
Yeah.
Do you know, does that, I know each area kind of has its own preference. I think IPAs kind of across the board, but I saw someone moved out here from California and they commented on our availability of like kettle sours, that we do a lot of fruited kettle sours, the Florida Wise style. Here, I think the Southeast in general.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just finished the kettle sour today. Yeah.
See? Yeah. What is the Arkansas palate? What is it? The brown ales and those maltier things, or
it's
it
everything
IPAs,
nowadays?
sours? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew markets. Go ahead.
I mean, it's like a little bit of everything. I mean,
Okay.
I think you get it's craft beer, so everybody loves their IPAs. That always has a spot. I'd say more. The last few years we've seen a lot more of just like the lighter side of things,
right.
whether it's like a lager, kind of, just some of the lighter, like the blondes and the fruit beers are definitely like becoming more center stage down here, or up here, I guess, for y'all. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything. I think the brown is, man, it hits that like really nice, like, I don't know, it's kind of I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's an anomaly, man. It's crazy.
How many different beer recipes do you put lactose in? Because lactose is also a big thing here. Is that a big thing there?
There's lactose in the blackberry. As far as like what we distribute,
but
nothing.
I've seen photos of y'all's beer. Nothing like what you guys do.
Yeah,
we're not making smoothie. I don't know that there's a single brewery here that's making a smoothie beer. It's classic. Like I would say it's classic. Like we're still converting light lager drinkers to craft beer.
Yeah.
I mean, you get out in the netherworld in Arkansas, and it's
still domestic.
It's domestics, and so
and I think that just to kind of go along with your question on what Arkansans are drinking, at least in my experience in the market up here, it is trending lighter. It is trending more toward, and that's why you see our session IPA. We didn't send you guys. We might add like our blonde ale to what we send you guys. Right. Those sell just as much now as La Brea used to be the dominant number one. I think that most people's palates up here are kind of trending lighter, but there's still that crave for a higher ABV or a malty beer. I still get asked for dark beers all the time.
Yeah,
I still get asked for higher ABV stuff. And that's what's great about the La Brea Brown is it's 6%. It's dark, but it's easy to drink. But it still has that hefty craft beer flavor, because there's still a lot of people who really haven't delved into craft beer that live up here, Right. And so we're still hitting people that aren't necessarily used to it or haven't really even dived into craft beer at all. That have been drinking Mick Ultra and Highlight,
Bush Light, baby.
Bush lattes are what they call them. You know,
I will say everybody loves a double IPA though.
Yeah.
I mean, a double IPA, I feel like that's like the craft.
But I feel like
the
because you
beer
get
of craft
so
beer,
much,
like
because you get so much like tropical hops or like intense hops, but like really high ABV. You know, but everyday beers, I feel like double IPAs are still popular, but everything's kind of trending a little lighter. But you still get people that want those double IPAs. Yeah,
we call them drinking beers, man.
That's right.
Drinking beers,
lawnmower beers, what I call them. You know,
sure, yeah, lawnmower beers, drinking beers. We've got something I think is super cool. Like here in Georgia, we have at least 4 or 5 now breweries that focus on lighter lagers.
Yeah, we're catching up to you guys.
But yeah, that's right.
We're catching up.
It's almost a requirement nowadays that everybody in like we've brewed 1 lager, I think, in 9.5 years.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but it's almost a requirement nowadays for everybody to have a light, or not a light, but at least a lager option.
You need like something
a
you
yellow
can drink
beer.
and you need like something that's hoppy and gonna like punch someone in the face.
Yep.
Like you know, you gotta have both ends of the spectrum these days.
And I love that people are doing not just lighter lagers, but they're making crafty lagers.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean,
that's a
that
quality
bill, but you still get that quality,
that great
quality
flavor. Yeah.
I would rather drink. I mean, there are some days when I want like a Mick Ultra or like a High Life, you know, or a Pabst or something. I would rather drink that from someone that I know than a brewery in Milwaukee. You know.
Yeah.
And I still think that that's what's great about craft beer, and that's what's going to keep craft beer around.
It's getting out to the masses, man. More people, the more approachable beers you have, the more people that can approach it. You know, they come in and have a La Brea, and then next thing you know, they're doing keg stands of the
Hey, we've done keg stands of La Brea on a float trip.
There you go, man. There you go.
You don't even at these days, you don't really even have to convert anybody. You just say, hey, I make the same kind of thing that you already drink. I just make it a little bit better.
Right. Guess what? It's good.
Yeah. Try this out.
That's right. That's right.
Good stuff, y'all. You are listening to the Beer Guys Radio Show. We need to get us another break in here, but we'll be back very soon with more from Fossil Cove Brewing.
Dude, Tyler's my bad.
Cough.
I was going to ask, and I knew we didn't have time for it, but what's the biggest, craziest, booziest thing that you guys make or have made?
Oh,
people are asking for this, so
you know what it is? It's the Yeti bomb, or not the Yeti bomb. What is it called?
Is it Yeti bomb?
The Yeti bomb sounds like a shot.
It's a coffee drink we make.
We did a collab with a local restaurant in town called Hugo's, and we brewed an imperial stout. And they've like had an Old Forester barrel, and we added molasses to it.
5 gallons of molasses into an Old Forester.
That beer was like
15.5%.
15.5%.
15.
It was a big beer.
Okay.
Oh heck, we couldn't have even had it.
It was 15%.
It's 15%, and it was called Mammoth Stout.
Yeah.
That's illegal in Arkansas.
That's legal.
14%'s our cap.
That's Arkansas.
Georgia.
It's illegal in Georgia.
I think we can go like 21.
I'm mixing up the states now.
Yeah.
I think
That's
we can go
illegal in
like
Georgia.
You haven't even had a Frost Fest yet.
No, you're right.
We're fixing to have a Frost Fest.
Dude, Tyler's chomping at the bit to drink this beer right now.
Wait to
We're here, man.
I love
Let's
this
do it.
I'll be honest with you. This is the one I've been looking for.
Go for it.
Yeah. Right, trash talking, Brian.
I'm
sad
Nate Dogg can't have any of it.
I liked it a lot. Did you? You already got some of this, right? No.
Yeah, that's what I got right here.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I was looking forward to this, but
Yeah,
I was
it's
curious
only
about
a pint
the brown as well.
Here, I'm going to give the mic to No Mike Nate. I'm going to let him share. He's doing a dry February, so tell him what you got this week, Nate.
Just breathe into his mouth or breathe into his nose some of this Frost Fest vapor.
Yeah.
There we go. Here, I'll do this one.
There you go. Blow it at him. Blow it at him. There it is.
No, tonight I'm drinking Athletic Brewing, their Run Wild IPA.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's tasty. It's probably not as good as what you guys are fixing to get into. But fortunately,
there's alcohol in this one.
Yeah,
that's right.
Unfortunately, 2 cans of that showed up, so maybe I can convince the boys to hold on to that second can.
Save one.
For March. For you.
Nah.
I have a feeling it's not going to make it through the night. Sorry, buddy.
Nate takes care. So Nate works for one of our distributors, and he gets the good.
Oh, cool.
He gets the frontline hit on the good. So we always try and take care of Nate.
Yeah, we'll do our best. I'll try not to drink it tonight.
Right.
No promises, but
Brian, 3 hours from now. What's that SpongeBob meme? Later. And then just laid out all over the place. Yeah, empty cans. How'd you drink 2 fridges worth of beer?
One beer at a time, Tim. That's
one
how I did it.
I'm one beer at a time. I watched Beer Fest again recently, and that's it takes me
classic
back.
stuff.
I was a sophomore in college whenever that movie came out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That bears rewatching. I haven't seen that in a minute.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious. And honestly, we were sitting there going like my girlfriend and I were watching it. I was like, man, I don't think they can make that movie anymore.
You know, I'd have to rewatch. I'd watch.
I think you are correct. I don't
think they can. I don't think you can make Van Wilder again. Like,
absolutely not. No.
There's movies you just cannot make again.
Well, I know you couldn't
not
make
currently, anyways.
like Airplane again. Movies like that. There's a lot of things in there. Like,
there's a lot of old sitcoms I watch, like Married with Children. That wouldn't do well at all.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That didn't come on until midnight, right? Like, it wasn't even allowed to come on TV, and like it was new episodes weren't allowed to come on until like 11 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's right. Yeah. Even then, it was very controversial, but now it's controversial for completely other reasons. I think.
I was watching the vintage sitcom channel the other night. That's like from the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they had a police show where this lady called the police because her husband was threatening to beat her. And the cops came in and they're talking to her. He's like, listen here, lady, this is the second time you called us about this. You can't be wasting 2 officers' times for. He's like, what if he apologizes? I'm like, holy crap.
Yeah, what if he apologizes?
There's no
after
way.
the beating, he apologizes.
Man.
Well, in that case, no crime, right?
They were all over her for calling the police.
I can't believe you've done this.
And he's like, well, she made me mad. She's not cooking dinner. And he's like, the cops are like, we got to beat you too, or something like that.
Oh, man. That's not what you should do, kids. Don't do that.
No,
right. That is
no.
The 60s, 50s, and 60s are
do not take your life advice from Nick at Night or whatever that is. The vintage sitcoms. Yeah, don't do that. Do that. Yeah.
There was one even older, and I think I've told you about this. It was a movie, and there was something where the guy had like a high school age daughter, and she said something, and he smacked her across the mouth, and she like cried, like does and runs off, and then later on. They're talking, and she says something like, "Oh, Daddy, you always know when I need a kind word or a smack on the mouth." Like she was cool with it. She's like, I had that coming. So
and I laugh because that stuff is so unbelievable right now.
Right.
I'll be right back.
Thank God that
sounds good.
Where's everyone going? Yeah,
I have tea, man.
It's intermission.
Let's talk about beer. So
you have to talk. You have to talk for 3 people now.
So what are your favorite Arkansas breweries that are not Fossil Co?
Oh man, I mean, there's a lot of really good ones. I mean, I feel like I'm going to leave people off.
Diamond Bear is
Diamond Bear. Yeah, man. Diamond Bear is like they're one of the OGs. I mean, Yeah, I mean, they're based in Little Rock. I want to say they opened in like 2003. Early mid like 2000s kind of. Man, up here, like I'd say like off the top of my head, I love Crisis. They're a great Fayetteville one.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some really good friends up at Ozark in Rogers. Their head brewer Andy, he's like, we've known him since like we opened. Like he helped build our bar in our original like tasting room space, and so like we've like really done a lot with them over time. I mean, down at Little Rock, Stone's Throw is great. Lost 40. I love Gravity Brew Works. They're like farm brewery out in the country.
That's cool.
If you're looking for like kind of like country, like rural brewery vibe, Preston Rose is awesome. I mean, we've got a lot. Like, I don't think you can really like go wrong.
There's a lot of good ones
anywhere that you go. Like we've got up here. We've got this thing called the Fayetteville Ale Trail that are city of Fayetteville. They put it together, and it's kind of this brewery passport that self-guided tour to everything in the Northwest Arkansas area. And I think now it's up to like 21 breweries on that.
Okay.
So you can like stop at our downtown square and like pick up your passport and then just kind of like head out on your brewery tour. It used to be when it first started, it was like 7 breweries. People would try and do it in a day. They'd like show up. We'd be like the last stop because we're open the latest. And they'd come in and they'd be like, we did a flight at 7 breweries and you're the last one. And we're like, woo!
You get them drunk.
Yes,
Let's
you
do
did.
it.
Like, all right. Now it's like, I don't think you can do it in a day.
It's like we're looking at our
a
liability insurance right now, and we can't serve you.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
The best thing I've heard of for a brewery tour around here is a beer century on a bike. So you do a bike ride. I've actually had a buddy. So it happened. Last time he did it was 3-4 years ago. So it actually helps to have more breweries because you can keep moving a little bit more and get more miles in. But yeah, they went out and did a loop for like 25 miles and then came back because we have a bike path that goes from Fayetteville to Bentonville to straight up the gut.
Okay.
And so they went and did 100 miles and timed it because we all opened so differently. And he actually had me leave pints out because I wasn't here. Had me the bartenders leave a pint out so that they could, in case they didn't get there in time, they could get that last beer in and get that last mile, get that last brewery in. Yeah.
So essentially, and I remember, oh my gosh, going back to college days, what exactly is the beer consumption requirement? Because I think I remember
it's a pint.
Is it a pint per
it's a pint per brewery?
Okay.
Oh, a pint per.
So I guess it would just vary by how many was on the route of your century.
I got you.
Right.
I got you. Because way back in the day at the fraternity house, that used to be 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes.
Yeah, that was oh god.
What is
I think it was like 100 ounces of beer
or whatever.
There's power hour, yeah.
And it was
take a shot every minute for an hour.
Yeah, you just take a shot you take an ounce of beer every minute.
Mm-hmm.
Every minute.
Exactly.
So 60 ounces of beer.
Yeah.
It's a thing at the time I witnessed that did not participate in, if you can believe it. But yes, it was. Yeah.
So 2/5 of Black Tuesday, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically.
Or, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's do it.
No big deal.
A liter and a half of Black Tuesday. Let's do it.
And I watched it because I realized at that time I was not up to that level of madness. I've been building myself up to be ready for that the next time it happens. But
training like an Olympian.
The guys in the these 20 something, I'm going to say they're all 21 at that time, and these 21-year-olds were not up to the task. A lot of them. Some of them were.
I've tried and failed several times.
All right.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
We did the closest thing I've come to one of those kind of challenges is
Andrew had to pee too.
Yeah.
You got to take a break time.
Does that happen to y'all often? Do people have to take a break often with you guys?
If we get to chatting, like we're chatting in between, it does. Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here drinking beer, man. It's gonna.
I'm not gonna be of any use if my bladder is.
So the radio goes out later, right?
So radio will go out. Our stations are our weekend broadcast, so Saturday and Sunday, and then the podcast will be. It used to be midnight Saturday. We just got a new network, so we're still tuning things there, but should be by Saturday morning. The podcast will be ready.
Oh, neat. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say something.
Do you guys, speaking
of talking about beer challenges.
Yeah, I was going to.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of Olympics, do you guys watch curling at all?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Come on,
you know what?
curling.
I want to watch more curling.
I want to watch it.
It's a beer sport.
It's a beer sport.
Like they can't. They're not drinking.
You guys have a great facility there.
We do.
And you do.
And they actually do a beer league where they get brewers together that do like a bracket.
No, they don't.
Curling bracket.
Yeah. They can't. They're not drinking beers, obviously, at the Olympics.
But it's a beer.
But I'm always
sport.
like, why are they not?
It,
you have to be able to drink
in spirit.
All those guys drink beer.
They are.
So, like in Canada, they're so serious about it. That, our Olympian curlers, I had a buddy who was like, went to the bowling alley with our like they played against their rec league team. Like
got it. Oh, cool.
That's oh man, I forget his name. I haven't talked to him in years, but he's like, he's like so and so. From the American team, he plays with our
comes
league.
up there and hangs out. Yeah,
and I'm like, this is just Saturday drinking.
Yeah,
sliding rocks around on
ice. They started it. Didn't they? Like, it's a Canadian sport.
Yeah,
the one and only.
Probably a lot of maple brown ales.
That's right.
I'm sure that's right.
He was from.
We might have to make a maple brown ale.
Call it curling.
Curling, yes.
Yeah.
Call it
Make it,
curling.
Or base
make
it off
it
of
in a
curling.
can,
Dude,
shape
that's
like
awesome.
a curling puck. Take a keg and slice it down to like this tall.
And make
Can
it
in
a
that.
stone.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to do a shirt trade? Do you guys do that?
We can do that, man.
Do you guys do shirts?
Yeah.
I like both
So
of
what's
the shirts
yours?
that you
Let's
guys are
see.
wearing.
So we've got, you know what? We may be limited on the colors we have available. So you guys good with roulette on the colors?
Whatever you get.
Whatever you guys want to send
T-shirt
us,
roulette.
Whatever you
All
guys
right,
want to
guys,
send.
give me your color. Give me your sizes there.
Mediums and larges.
Mediums and larges.
Large, medium, large.
Yeah.
So two larges, one medium.
Two
larges
medium.
and a medium.
Yeah, what about
Let me
you
make a
guys?
note, man. You know what? I will just be straight up honest here. You're not going to have my size. No one ever does. So,
What is it?
Brian, what are you, 3X?
No, what is it? Because I think we do, bro.
I am a 6L tall.
Oh, you don't have that.
Right? I know.
We should
listen to
We
him.
can get that.
You
though.
gotta trust him on this.
Yeah,
He's
I've
never
been
right.
down this road, man. I've
can
been
get it.
down.
I'm
Also,
a
we
very-
can get it. We can get it.
You know what's
We've
funny?
recently had to get some sizes for people.
Oh yeah,
So.
Yeah.
we got it. We'll make it happen.
I'll tell you what's fun though is like I've told people my size before, and they're like, I don't have that, but I do have this 3X. Will that work?
No.
That's like giving a small to someone that wears an XL.
An
you know?
XL, yeah.
Can you squeeze?
Oh man.
So six, and then what's the other
6X
one?
tall and
6X
3,
tall. Yes, a very
Maybe
athletic 3X.
large, a 3.
3X,
And,
yeah.
Let's see what you can do.
A
Got it.
6X
Yeah, no,
tall.
We'll make it happen.
We'll
We'll
send
make
it
it
with
happen.
that coffee IPA and that
Oh
blonde.
my gosh, man,
Boom.
this is gonna be a sweet.
It's gonna be
care package.
You
amazing.
guys might get the beer first.
We'll
but-
send you a follow-up package.
But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
we'll
All right,
send you guys.
guys,
some
we
stuff.
appreciate you.
Yeah, of
appreciate
course.
you very
No, we
much.
appreciate you guys too. Thanks for reaching out.
You bet, man.
Yeah, this is
Absolutely.
great. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. This has been a good time. And there's still more to go. Seg 4, right?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, sweet.
Guys,
Yeah.
before we go into the last segment here, I know is there anything that we have not mentioned you want us to make sure that we do mention?
Did we talk about Frostfest? The festival?
We have not talked about
No,
Frostfest
this
yet.
will be
beer.
so the beer itself will be good for the segment, and you guys feel free to ask a bunch of questions.
Cool.
Well,
Because it's
we've
a
gotten into that beer
fundraiser
stuff.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
it's probably the idea behind this beer is a beer festival, right? We couldn't have it during COVID, so
Yeah.
the whole conversation about Frostfest is probably one of the things we're most proud of as community leaders.
Cool.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah,
also,
we'll
and
get into
it's
that.
also probably
Let's
important to talk
do
about
it.
beer festivals in the time of COVID.
Festival.
Anyway, I don't
Yeah,
know,
no
what, I don't
shit.
know
Yeah.
what Georgia's doing with beer festivals. but-
Dude, we are excited. So they still haven't had that many, and we just had a really big one get canceled, one we were really excited for.
Yeah.
But coming up in April, we have Little Beer Fest that is
cool.
sponsored by our friends at Good Word Brewing and Public House, one of our favorite. But they do a lot of lagers. Basically, I think it's beers under 5%.
It's the
Is that
kind of
right?
beers that you guys love over there. They're
Yeah.
lighter drinking beers,
Yeah.
you know, but very flavorful.
Most
so.
are going to be like a lager, type of beer, but we
Yeah.
get some like some smaller sours.
We get some
You know, they even had a
ESBs,
stout
some
last
Oh,
year.
cool!
They even had
ESBs,
a
English
stout
miles,
last
and
year,
in
yeah.
a stout. Yeah.
We've done a session stout before.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fun stuff, man. It's,
We haven't done the session stout in a long time.
Session
Long
Fest
time.
is a great idea.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like what you need.
dude, it's the best for a beer
Right.
festival. It's the best thing you could ever have.
Yeah.
Talk
It's-
about going around
yeah.
drinking beer.
It's ideal,
Yeah.
especially if you get a bunch of breweries together and you realize everybody there wants to try everything. And if everything is like 10%, there's no
That's
chance.
right.
Yeah,
that's
that's,
right.
it just leads to insanity.
Yeah.
We won't even take strong beers to festivals for that exact reason.
That's probably a really good idea.
and we do have a
think the
strong
LaBrea
beer
is like the
fest
strongest
here as
one.
well.
So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
we do
oh,
have
yeah,
a strong
oh, yeah.
beer fest. Strong Beer Fest is the best, but
Mine
oh my goodness.
Mine and Brian's favorite thing
Get
to
a ride
do is
home.
to go to Strong Beer Fest and then belly up to bar and drink
Whis-
drink
And drink
Van Winkle.
PBRs all night. Oh,
Whiskey
No,
and
we
PBR.
go. We sit there and sip
Oh,
Van
really?
Winkle, man.
Yeah, we were the last time we went to one. I
What
think-
was
might
it?
have
Van
been the
Winkle
last one.
10?
Van
I
Winkle
think?
10, yeah. Back when it was even possible to find pours of that anywhere. So.
Right.
Yeah, really good bourbon. We went to a strong beer festival and drank whiskey instead. So we did have some of the beer.
Not instead. Don't go lying.
Not instead.
We drank
yeah.
a lot of strong
In
beer.
addition
and
to-
then drank
yeah.
whiskey. Yes.
Probably aged in
Yeah.
some Van Winkle barrels. I wonder if anybody's doing that.
There's
Oh,
there's
man, that's
places around
Are
here.
there ones that have made
Are
that
they?
claim? You know what?
man.
We,
Yes.
Expensive
Yeah.
barrels.
we had a few weeks ago, courtesy of No Mike Nate here. He brought in a Worldwide Stout Utopias Barrel.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta admit,
I've only had that
pretty
beer
darn
once, and it
stellar,
was at
man.
the Great
Pretty
American
stellar.
Beer Festival.
That was a pretty sexy beer. Yeah.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
speaking of things, are you guys going to CBC?
You know what? We haven't planned to go to CBC. Is it Minneapolis this year?
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think he's about to have a baby, so I don't know if he's gonna make it.
All right, congrats.
But Tyler and I and Alyssa, our tasting room manager, and maybe a brewer and a distribution guy are planning on going. Sorry.
Is that fairly soon?
It's in
May 2nd through the 5th.
Okay, so not too bad.
Yeah,
I was trying to think if I still had time to plan for that.
I think might have seen like teaser emails about registering for that. And
we do
if you guys get anything from the Brewers Association, they've been
that's the best event. That's the best event to go to. The Brewers Association puts on, in my opinion, as professionals in the industry. Yeah.
I've heard that it's much better than GABF. I remember going out there and seriously, it was like dropping the rail on a cattle car.
Oh, dude! So he and I did
sensory overload, man.
He and I went out one year and did all 4 sessions.
I don't recommend it. I recommend it maybe one time, but just like be prepared. It's intense.
It is, and you do is as a craft beer fan, you really do need to check it off your list. There's nothing like
100%.
Yeah, I mean it's the biggest.
It's a bucket list.
It's got to be the biggest beer festival in North America, no doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
but you could go out there and never go to a session and still have the best beer week of your life.
That's right. That's right. Oh, because all the cool stuff at all the bars around.
All the adjacent,
You got Great Divide right next door. You got the what's it called? The Rhino District right down the street.
RIP Falling Rock.
Falling Rock.
Falling Rock closed.
They had
that was a great.
They had great GABF stuff going on there.
Yeah, they did all the time.
Yeah, last year they were selling off their cellar, I think, trying to stay afloat, but they didn't make it. RIP. Yep.
Man, that's too bad.
Fun,
yeah, because I think you and I have been there together, haven't we? Yeah. Yeah. Oh man,
it's a good trip.
I wish we could pour one out for those guys.
Yeah.
Yes, right. All right, guys, let's do it. Last segment coming right up.
Oh, this beer's so good.
Follow the Beer Guys on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Now, back to the Beer Guys Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Beer Guys Radio Show. If you enjoy the show, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. Patrons get cool perks like Beer Guys swag and commercial-free episodes. Now let's get back to Fossil Cove Brewing Company.
Fossil Cove Brewing Company. Brian, I got a tall boy in my hand.
You do?
I have a 16-ounce can of Frost Fest double IPA. We're breaking with the dinosaur theme here, guys, on the label art. We've got a Yeti on here. He's got a snarl on his face and a big mug of beer. Can you tell us about Frost Fest?
Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, so this beer is kind of like it's an homage to a beer festival that we put on. It's another one of our like COVID pivots. So kind of Frostfest, we started this beer festival in 2016. It's just a way to have fun, try new beers, bring the community together. And we were able to bring in breweries from like a 9-state area all around Arkansas. We'd have like 2,000 people would come out and like 50 breweries, and every brewery would send their representative, and, they'd come out and we'd have a great day of drinking in the cold. We'd always do it the first weekend of February. We partner with a local nonprofit, Appleseeds. They do a lot of just kind of like it's garden-based education. So they're bringing kids in and teaching them about kind of like farming and healthy eating and nutrition. So like we can really get behind their mission. I think they do a lot of great work in our area. And so we were able to just bring in a lot of people and raise a lot of money for them. And we snuck this Frostfest in at the beginning of 2020, and it was like 3 weeks after it was COVID and shut down.
Shut down.
and just like, the world, ended for a while. So we didn't do Frostfest in 2021. We were kind of planning for a Frostfest 2022. That ended up not happening. But what we did in 2021, we brewed this beer for the first time, the double IPA for it. Buchanan in 4-pack, 16 ounces, double IPA, something that we thought would be like really good to, get people through like all the at home and the closures, and something to kind of like console everyone. And then proceeds from this beer, they go and benefit Appleseeds. So that way we can continue giving money, donating to them and supporting their mission, even not having the festival. So we're looking at a 2023 return. We'll see,
Come on, 2023. We're counting.
Yeah. So come on out for that.
We'll send you guys some free tickets.
Awesome town. It's
Thanks,
a great
guys.
Yeah.
There we go.
It'd be a rad segment. It's fun. It's fun.
It'd be
So
fun, yeah.
here's a thought. Here's a thought. You could do a one-off. You might still be able to fit in a festival this year. Have a defrost fest in the middle of summer.
We've thought about
it. The Yeti in Bermuda shorts, wearing shades.
Well, that might be.
We've got our 10th anniversary coming up in June. And so we're like blowing it out for our 10th anniversary.
I like where your head's at.
So.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
But the Yeti,
the wheels are turning.
But the Yeti,
Frostfest in July, man.
You can tell Brian's had a few when he's like, "Hey guys, here's an idea."
That's my favorite. Hey guys, you know what you should do?
You know what you should do, right?
It's almost always a bad idea, but it's an idea that amuses me a great deal, and it's more amusing if I share it with other people and they cringe. So
dude, that's not a bad idea. I don't feel like we cringed at all.
Oh, you got it, Brian.
I failed.
Because brewers love when you tell them, what would make this better?
Yeah, you know what you should do.
Yeah.
Right. We're not talking about beer. We're talking about a festival. So we're open ears on that.
Yeah,
don't talk to us about what beer we should.
Yeah. I brewed a lemon blonde and served it at a beer fest. We were invited as a home brewer, and someone drank it. And he's like, "This is pretty good." He's like, "But you know what's really good? I tried this one. Bud Light's got this lemonade."
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh, that hurts.
I'd forgotten that. Oh, dagger in the heart. This
rough. Is pretty good, but it's no Bud Light lemonade.
Well, you're right. It is not Bud Light lemonade.
You're right. That is correct assessment there.
Well, something that we talked about. I think we teased a little earlier. There was a collaboration brew with a notable historic brewer from the past that lives nearby. And I got to ask about this. What was this special collaboration that you did? Tell us about that.
Yeah. So that's it's actually something. It's called Old Toe Sucker is the name of the beer. Would have been brewed in the late 70s sometime by Jack McAuliffe and crew at New Albion Brewing in it's in California, Central California. Can't remember the exact town. Oh, Petaluma. Sorry, is that right?
That sounds right.
That's Lagunitas.
Is it?
It's like closer to Sacramento.
I can't remember. I'm sorry, Jack, and all the beer people out there. I should know this.
Gosh.
Now it's
the number one first craft brewery, though.
He is considered the first craft brewery post Prohibition. So he was open 76 to 82. They did their thing. He Franken brewed a bunch of stuff together and really kind of pioneered and embodied the current, even to this day, craft brewer spirit. You know what I mean? So he's resettled into the area, and the local home brew club, Flops, Fayetteville Lovers of Pure Suds, who meet here on Thursday evenings. They have really embraced him, and he's embraced them, and his family's embraced them and stuff, and have kept him involved in the brewing community around here, which is really incredible. And so he's been involved in different projects in the area, but one of the Keith Lynn, the current president of Flops, was incredibly motivated to do some sort of big project with Old Toe Sucker. This beer that he liked is a beer that Sierra Nevada worked with Jack McAuliffe with. I think they put one out we discussed in like 2012 or 2013.
For like the 30th anniversary. Yeah.
It was one of their 30th anniversary series. That's right. Yeah. And also Keith Lynn himself has also done a clone recipe of it too. And so I was able to get a hold of some historical brew logs from Sierra Nevada themselves, and as well as from Keith, and we tried our best to recreate something that we've never had and do the best job we could. And we're aging it currently. It's sitting downstairs in some Heaven Hill barrels and some Heaven Hill. I think it's all Heaven Hill maybe barrels. So it's in bourbon barrels now, and we'll pull it here in the next month or two. And then the beer was released. The original was released on the summer solstice. And so we'll in talking about it, we had originally thought about a fall release with a big, heavy black barley wine, right? Well, instead we're just gonna keep with tradition and history and release it on the summer solstice. So that'll be a lot of fun. As the story goes, Jack was present for the brew, which was pretty incredible. As the story goes, it's told by him day of. There was his assistant brewer actually did suck some toes at the original release.
Will that happen at your release as well?
Will there be a toe sucking booth?
We'll see how many of these beers I have.
You can't count it out. But.
I think all three of you guys should get together and inaugurate kind of. It's like a christening of the beer.
I promise you, these two will let me do it myself.
Okay, there you go. Man. There you go.
Sometimes the owner and founder has to take a bullet.
Depends on whose
has
toes
to get there, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Has to go down with the ship or the toes.
Yeah.
A lot of old beers, like they were, just the worst speckled
hen. Yeah,
toe sucker.
Weird, unappealing names for beers and
horrible cirrhosis.
Yes, horrible cirrhosis.
ESB,
the beer,
right? Man. So guys, I feel weird asking this question. Brian, your question, I'm going to read it, and I'm going to assume that it makes sense when I ask it. What is 2022?
Oh, there's a bottle of it right there. Want to grab it?
There you go.
Is this more of just like
like 2022 the year or the beer we released?
Let's start with the beer. If we get talking about the year, man, it's just there's just so much that could be said there. So
okay.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of layers. We could do like a whole.
Man, where do we want to go with this exactly?
So the beer, real quick with the beer, it's just something I've had some champagne finished IPAs before.
Okay,
it's just something I think these guys have heard me say every New Year's for 8 years now. So I got around to getting one through the works. So we did one and did an IPA, West Coast IPA, and then used brown sugar and champagne yeast as the priming additive. So just added the champagne yeast post fermentation in the bright tank. That was kind of because we ran out of a little bit of time to ferment the whole thing with champagne yeast, and I hadn't really. It's our first try, right? So I didn't really know what to expect.
A brewed IPA, just a champagne finish.
No, because a brewed IPA is just an incredibly dry, Saccharomyces fermentation, right? No, this like the whole idea behind this is to get the champagne component. So next year's edition will be just 100% fermented with champagne yeast, just to see what happens. Yeah, 2022 is a year we crushed it. So.
All right, man.
We're a month and a half in. The future is bright.
2021 we crushed. We're hoping 2022 is going to keep going.
There you go, man.
They already won a month and a half in.
That's right.
It's been great.
So far, so good. We did crush it.
With every year, there's obviously there's question marks, especially after the year that 2020 was. But I mean, we're pretty optimistic with 2022. As well.
People are still drinking beer, man.
People are still drinking beer.
Right. People are coming and coming in and hanging out with us, and it's like we can't really ask for more than that. So
everything looks bright. I mean, if you look back at 2020 and 2021 especially,
sure, it definitely beats middle of March 2020.
Yes,
doesn't it though?
We can
I'll take
say that with confidence
over that.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Fossil Cove Brewing Company, Fayetteville, Georgia. Head over to fossilcovebrewing.com for more info or follow them on the social. Guys, thanks you so much for joining us.
All right. Thanks
you guys for having absolutely. Us. Have a good night.
A pleasure.
You know what? That about wraps it up for this episode of the Beer Guys Radio Show. Brian, join us next week as we talk to True Colors Brewing. We are Beer Guys Radio on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers.
Drink local. Drink local.
Clear. We did it.
We did it. We made it through.
We made it.
Thank you guys.
Through 2022.
We made it. Yes. So
honestly, I get my years all mixed up anymore. I don't even know what decade it is. I'm sorry. Like, who gives it? I wake up in the morning and I go, I got to do this. So.
Right. Today.
Nobody else is going to do it. Let's just get it done.
I figured the Mayans were right. The world really did end in 2012. So
we're
all just
that was the year we opened. So we've just been hanging out in the fall.
That's right. There you go.
So hey, I've got a question for you guys. Which beer did you guys like personally the most out of the 4 that we gave you guys so far?
I would I'm more likely to would drink on the regular the Frost Fest because that's kind of my jam. But I really like the brown ale.
That's Andrew. That's Andrew. Andrew loves double IPAs. I can't drink them that regularly, but that's like his favorite style to drink at home. I don't get it's crazy, but I mean it's a good one.
Put a straw on it. It's for me.
The Session IPA. I really
Session.
dug that.
That's my
go-to. I really like the brightness and cleanness of that. The hops with a little bit of resinous bitterness there. I dug that. And
so our corn and oats edition is probably what helps the body in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're talking about how it's not as watery as other sessions and stuff like that. Yeah. So we put. It's a pretty healthy dose, 30% of the grain bill or whatever is oats and corn. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessarily low calories, just low alcohol.
Yeah.
Just low ABV.
I guess if you want to call it, if you want to call it a cream session IPA, you can.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because of the corn edition. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the questions I had that we didn't have time for, but you make IPA number 3. What happened to IPA number 1 and number 2?
I need to make them again. They just weren't as good as number 3.
They weren't good enough.
They didn't make the cut.
There you go.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Because
didn't make the cut either.
And when I was looking around online, I saw references to IPA number 3 way back in 2014 or something. I'm like,
this has
been around for a long time.
That was first year. That was literally the third.
It was a 2013 or 14 beer. Yeah.
I mean, it was
by the time we got to that recipe.
Yeah, it was the third IPA recipe, and it was the one that stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So there were a few before that.
I will say you're drinking the Frostfest is Honey Project number 8.
Honey Project.
Yeah, we're creative, sometimes we just beers get a number.
Brew log numbers.
Yeah. The brew log numbers are whatever it is, and then we'll change maybe the hops, or we'll change them all.
Sometimes the beer gets a creative name.
Yeah.
A lot of the times it's
once it wins the beer race, it gets a name.
Then it get there, yeah. IPA number 3. That's it, guys.
That was just ironic enough too.
Hang with us here. I'm going to wrap up our stream, but you guys hang on if you don't mind, please.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, y'all. We will be back next week. True Colors, that's going to be an interesting story from those folks. But thanks for tuning in, y'all. We really appreciate it. We will see you next week.